Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the all-new Cadillac Lyriq, and this one happens to be the all-wheel drive version that everyone wants. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Steiner Cadillac here in Salt Lake City, Utah, for giving me some time with this Lyriq. This particular Lyriq is their demo car, so if you want to come and drive the new all-wheel drive Lyriq, then definitely give them a visit. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can contact them. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the Lyriq is a 102 kilowatt hour battery pack paired to a dual electric motor setup. This setup is able to provide over 300 miles of electric driving range and then about 500 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, first off, I love this paint color. It's like a grayish silver. It looks really cool in person, and then all the body lines also pop. Now, popping down below, I really like the front end of the Lyriq, and the little light design, or dance rather, it does when you unlock it is actually pretty cool. It does take a second for it to come into effect, but as you guys can see, it fills in with the daytime running light and then fills in with all of the headlights. It's a really cool effect overall. Now, popping around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 265, 50, 20 in the front and over in the rear. And when it comes to wheel design, it looks really good. It is mostly closed off for aerodynamic efficiency, but I think it's a pretty cool looking aero wheel. Now, the fender flares here are actually painted black, which contrasts very nicely to the body painted elements on this. We have our Cadillac badge here on the side. You can see the mirror cap also painted black. And then look at the trim there around the windows. And then also you got the cool door handles. Show those later. And then here's your full side view with the Lyriq. It definitely has this cool, sleek appearance, but it's also boxy at the same time. It's very unique. Now, here's our key fob. We have our unlock function or lock function remote start, the opening here for the hatch, and then the Cadillac emblem on the back. Now, popping into the rear, you guys can see we have a cargo cover built in from the factory, and we've got these buttons here to lower down the seats. And then underneath, we've got some storage space, and overall, it's definitely spacious back here. When you're all done, just press that button, and that will lower the hatch right back down. Now, taking a look at the taillights, first off, they don't do a cool dance like the headlights, but they still look really cool with the integration. Notice how it's kind of integrated there onto the side. And then you've got the Cadillac emblem here in the center. And the cool thing about the emblem is that is actually how you open up the trunk. A lot of manufacturers are starting to do that, and I think it's just such a cool feature. But while that is closing, you guys can see here, little light there on the side. And then, of course, we have our 600E4 badge, parking sensors here on the rear as well. So putting it all together, as an electric crossover, I'd have to say this is probably one of the best looking, if not the best looking, that I have reviewed to date. And here's the funky door handle. So you just press it and it'll pop the door open a bit, and then you just pull it open. Now, popping inside, you guys can see it's all soft touch here on the door panel. Got really nice stitching that goes across. And then you've got some speakers here for the sound system. I think this looks really cool over here. And then I love the handle to open it up. That also has a really cool look to it. And you got your door lock and unlock stuff, and then more speaker action there at the bottom. The headrests are definitely interesting, and then you guys can see a little blue strip there in the center, and then notice how it's perforated all down the center as well. Now, legroom in the back of the Lyriq's actually really good. We've got this little storage pocket. I like the stitching, by the way, because that's pretty cool. Got some vent action here, and then you guys can see some charging port action down below. Headroom back here is also really good, and look at this. Cup holder armrest. What more could you ask for? Now, taking a look at the front door panel, you can see again all soft touch, and we got that same cool design as what you have in the rear. And then notice our seat adjustments are on the door panel, and then you also have your heated and cooled seat function on the door panel as well, and then even massaging seats. This is fancy. We've got all of our window controls here, mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in, and then another speaker here for the AKG sound system. Apparently I can't talk. And then, yeah, look at the handle, pretty cool. Blind spot ring with the mirrors, by the way. And then here's the front seat. Looks like this is actually a speaker for the headrest. That's pretty interesting. And then notice how it's perforated all down the center portion. And then this is cool Cadillac. And then you got a little Lyriq right there. And then we've got this for like the lane departure, your parking brake, your auto hold. And then I like the look of the vent there. That's pretty cool. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, I think it's actually really cool with the overall design, 3-spoke design. But anyways, we've got a bunch of controls on the steering wheel. It's actually pretty normal stuff, even though it looks overwhelming on the surface. It's got like your volume controls, voice command controls, you've got phone controls, and then you got cruise control here, heated steering wheel button. So once you kind of like look at it for a second, it's actually not as overwhelming as it might seem on the surface. And then we do have a paddle here on the back for the regen, and then you've got your turn signal stalk, and then we actually have this column shifter. And the functionality on it's pretty interesting, how you kind of like don't just pull it up or down, it's kind of like over and down, if that makes sense. Now, just like the Escalade, we actually have this little touch screen here on the side of the screen. So this is where you control the lights, for example. You can see the efficiency, and then we can actually change what it shows in the main screen there in the center. And you guys can see when we have the map view pulled up, we get this little thing right there. So anyways, we'll just change to the energy view, which is pretty cool. It shows us how much energy we're using up. Or we can do the clean screen, where it just shows you how fast you're going. I like that, actually. That's very simple with the overall appearance. And while we're on screens, here is the backup camera. So we do have a 360 camera system with this. You guys can see the overhead view and then the backup view as well. And resolution on it's really good. And then as for the rest of the infotainment screen, first off, you guys can see this is our little control tab. So stuff like the glove box, for example, is controlled in the infotainment screen to open it up. Overall response time with the screen is great. There is also a dial that I can use to control stuff in the screen as well. So I'd say overall functionality with this is great. Now the dash itself is soft touch, and then I like this little design piece here, and then you can see with the vent, again, that looks great. And then we do have our climate controls, so dual zone climate here up front, and then if we just press this little thing right here, you guys can see you got a little bit of extra storage space. I guess that's just kind of a thing they're doing nowadays. And then also a bunch of storage down below, because I guess floating center consoles are now the future. And yeah, about that floating center console, here it is. So first off, I like this. This looks very ornate. That's pretty nice looking, especially even like the bottom portion. This is the little control for the infotainment system, and then also like the volume control. Very high quality feeling. And then we do have our center console here, so you just basically pick it up. There is no actual latch, but we do have a wireless phone charging pad here. And you can see the storage is pretty solid. And we'll of course gotta press that so we can get into the glove box here. It's actually pretty large, which is, I think, really nice. And then you got some nice padding and stitching. And then up top, we've got our control here for the full panoramic sunroof. Now, sorry about the air conditioning blowing on the window sticker there, but anyways, you guys can see the standard equipment and the warranty on this. It comes with this particular package. $63,000 is the base MSRP after all options. This one stickers for $64,965. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, and through the rear, and time to set off on our maiden voyage in the Cadillac Lyriq. I'm actually really excited to drive this because I've heard a lot of good things about it so far. So I want to see if those good things are warranted or not. So I've got the one pedal drive turned on. That's just the thing I like to do with EVs because it just, I don't know, it feels natural with EVs. It doesn't feel natural as a driver because like ICE cars obviously don't have one pedal drive, but yeah, with EVs, it has more of like a natural, I don't know, feel to it. That's just me though, maybe. I will say really smooth so far. And I like the sound it makes. It's kind of cool. It's very comfortable. I just recently reviewed a Tesla Model Y long range, so I will make some comparisons. Now this obviously has power outputs that are more similar to a performance, but then it has range that's similar to the long range, so it's like you get the best of both in this car apparently. Well, we are in a slightly different driving route than normal, and that's because we've got a train going across the tracks, and every single time there's a train, there's like a 20, 30, sometimes 40-minute wait. That's just how trains work here in the US. But I will say, going over the bumpy road here in Salt Lake, the suspension on this thing is really good. They've done a great job with the overall tuning to just make this such a comfortable car. I like how usable all of this is, by the way. It's just like, I know it's crazy, but super easy. So I know I didn't mention this in the walk-around portion. I wanted to wait till the driving portion, but you do have like normal kind of like Cadillac drive modes. Like right now we're in the sport mode. We'll pop it into the touring mode to pull things back a bit with the acceleration. Then obviously you got the snow, ice, and then the my mode. I will say, super comfy. Like this, way more so than a Tesla is a luxury car. Yeah, I mean, just driving here, like, yeah, over that bump, I mean, it absorbs it so well with the suspension. Yeah, Cadillac's done a really good job with this. I really do like the driving experience with this Lyriq so far. It's really good. Gonna wait for this little minivan here. All right, people in Salt Lake are kind of going all over the place, so I'm kind of waiting a second just to make sure. Okay. Yeah, that's quick. I'll get another acceleration up here once we get onto the next road, but yeah, it's got some punch to it, that's for sure. But the thing I'm most impressed with, honestly, is just like how this thing, the steering, the driving, all of that, the dynamics are really good. See, the train's still there. Let's burn some electrons. Yep, it's quick. It feels like it's about, and this has 114 miles left in it, so this is less than half battery, so it probably is even punchier at full charge. Just how EVs work. So, wrapping things up. RIP Tesla. I'm just gonna say it now. This is, I've reviewed, you know, several EVs that I feel like are better than, you know, Tesla from a car perspective, like the driving dynamics, and, you know, maybe range is close, but like this, it's like undeniable that this is better than a Tesla. You cannot make any argument, and I know people will in the comment section, but you cannot make any argument as to why a Tesla is better than this. I guess other than charging infrastructure. Outside of charging infrastructure, this looks better, has a nicer interior, drives better, has as much range, and it's about the same price as a Tesla that has somewhat similar equipment. But yeah, so this is a really good sign because we are finally getting EVs that are just undeniably better than Tesla. And so goodbye Tesla's market share. It's already going away. They've lost like 20 or 30% of their market share this year, something like that. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the new Lyriq, but I think that this is a Tesla killer. I think that's the best way to cap off this video.